This has been going on long enough. I think it's time we talk about Green Arrow and the Canaries. Alright, what is going on, guys? It's Tazz here, and welcome back to the channel. Now today what I've got for you guys is another episode of the DC Dose. And on today's episode, I want to talk to you guys about an elusive mystery, I guess you could say, in the Arrowverse for quite a while now, and that is of course Green Arrow and the Canaries. So with that said, hi, hello, DC, CW, anybody in the higher-ups there, Tazz here, or just you know, general DCTV Arrowverse fan and comic book enthusiast, and I've got just a teeny little, small little question, little ask for you guys. What's going on with Green Arrow and the Canaries? Come on, guys, what's going on here? Now, ever since Arrow ended, I'm pretty sure most of you guys have had that same question. Whether or not you're somebody who's for the series or against the series actually happening, I'm pretty sure all of us as fans of the Arrowverse, or I guess now CWverse, all of us just want the answer to one simple question, and that question is, of course, is Green Arrow and the Canaries actually happening? And now, as all of our shows get back to filming for the brand new seasons, I thought what better time than now to discuss the possibility of another addition to the CWverse. So let's start off by discussing what we know so far about what could be happening in this potential spin-off. In the final season of Arrow, we spent quite a bit of time with our characters from the future, getting to know them and kind of introducing us to this brand new world that we could be experiencing if Green Arrow and the Canaries actually does get picked up. As far as a proof of concept goes, we got to see Laurel and Dinah team up in the future to bring Mia back her pre-crisis memories in order for her to fully take up the mantle of the Green Arrow after Oliver's death. So I've gotta say there are of course some mixed feelings as far as the spin-off goes. There were a lot of people that absolutely loved the backdoor pilot, there were a lot of people that absolutely hated the backdoor pilot. I was kind of in that middle ground there where I enjoyed the episode for what it was, and if there was going to be a spin-off series coming after Arrow, I was all for it because, you know, I love Arrow and any continuation would be welcome, but also I wouldn't be too bummed out if, you know, we didn't ever end up seeing it, and that's kind of where we are right now. It's been months since Arrow has ended, and we've pretty much heard nothing. So whether or not you're for or against this series actually happening, many of us, I'm sure, have these same questions. Is this show actually happening, and if it is it going to be the same concept with the same characters? Are they maybe going to go a different direction and maybe put the focus on somebody else, like maybe Laurel instead of Mia? I have absolutely no clue, but that's kind of where we are right now. The other big point here is this show completely scrapped altogether, or will maybe the cliffhangers from that backdoor pilot be resolved elsewhere? Could they be possibly resolved on Legends of Tomorrow, as they of course are a time travel show, and that's kind of the only show within the CWverse currently that could address something happening in the future, with of course the show being set in 2040. And then going back to the possibility of it being scrapped altogether, we haven't really heard anything about this series in months. The only thing that we heard was a small bit of information from a couple of months ago back in June. So back in June, there was an article that came out over on TV Line where they interviewed Mark Guggenheim, and he discussed the possibility of how Green Arrow and the Canaries could be continued if the show did not get picked up to series. In this article, they discussed the possibility of us getting some sort of comic book continuation if there is no Green Arrow and the Canaries series, or also the possibility that it could be continued on Legends, like I mentioned before. So with that said, Green Arrow and the Canaries sits in a very interesting spot on the CW. Of course, everything is going back to filming as we speak, and we're supposed to be getting our premieres in the beginning of the year in January, so I'm not really sure if Green Arrow and the Canaries could actually fit into the CW's lineup for this next season. This would be something that would probably have to come either later next year or even into 2022. So honestly, I'm pretty stumped here as to what should happen with this show. Obviously, they spent so much time in Arrow's final season setting up for this spin-off. I would say at least half you know? At least half of Arrow Season 8 was spent focused on these future characters that were supposed to go on to this spin-off series. They spent so much time setting up Mia as this new Green Arrow. Now, I know that there's a lot of controversy around that. Some people really love it, some people really hate it, some people love the character, some people hate the character. I'm kind of in the middle and think the character definitely has potential, but I just don't think that she was handled in the best way that she could have been within Arrow's final season. For me personally, the biggest sell for the Green Arrow and the Canaries spinoff is the Canary aspect of things, and Earth 2 Laurel in particular. I really enjoyed Laurel in the final season of Arrow. I thought that she was one of the best parts of that easily, so I think maybe if the show were to happen, maybe restructure it a little bit, maybe take some of the focus away from Mia, or maybe push Mia out of the show in total and just focus on Laurel and Dinah maybe, and have kind of Laurel be that lead for the series. I think that she could do a really good job carrying a series on her own. But I mean, hey, is the series happening? Is the series not happening? Is it being reworked? Is it being completely scrapped? Is it going to be continued in another show? Is it going to be continued in a comic book? I have absolutely no clue. That's kind of why I just made this video, is to just kind of push out everything that we know, to kind of lay everything out for you guys and say, hey, this is what we know about the series so far. This is, you know, all the info we have, which isn't much, and we've been going for this long without knowing anything about it. And, you know, I've seen a lot of stuff online recently, and that's kind of what has sparked me to make this video, is I saw a lot of talk about it. Not quite as much as you would think, but, you know, I saw a couple of people discussing it, and, you know, some people are really for this series, some people really want it to happen, other people are really against it and really don't want it to happen, especially since it's been so long. They're like, okay, it hasn't been talked about for this long, just kind of let it die and let it be what it is. So I don't know. I think that it could be interesting if it happens. I'm not sure we could get a series with the exact same concept that we saw within the Backdoor pilot, but I still feel like Green Arrow and the Canaries in one form or another could happen, or at least we could get a wrap up to the story in one form or another. So with all of that said, guys, I want to leave the rest up to you. Do you guys want this show to actually happen? If you do, maybe we could do something. Maybe we could, you know, tweet at the CW, tweet at DC Comics, and just, you know, mention them in everything. Just say, hey guys, is this show actually happening? Give us an answer. Just, you know, obviously be respectful about it. Just be like, hey, respectfully, DC, CW, guys, is this show happening? Is it not happening? We just want to know. We just want to know. So I want to know what you guys think about all of this down there in the comments below. Do you want Green Arrow and the Canaries to happen in one form or another? Do you have an idea for how it could happen in possibly a different way? Do you want it to be scrapped? Just let me know what you guys think about all of this down there in the comments below. But until next time, guys, it's been Tazz, and I'll see you guys in the next video.